Adorama TV presents Getting the Shot with Corey Rich.
Hi, I'm Corey Rich. You're watching Adorama TV. Adorama is the place where I buy all of my photo and video equipment as a professional photographer and a professional filmmaker. Adorama.com. Today I'm going to be photographing Jake Dorr. He's a world-class mountain bike rider and actually world-class athlete and a very good friend. One of the things that I see with shooting mountain biking frequently is I see pictures where it just looks like they're standing still. And the question is, how do you create the feeling of speed on a mountain bike? So we're going to look at a picture at high shutter speed, captured at a 500th of a second or a 1,000th of a second, and then we're going to slow it way down into that 15th of a second, 1/8 of a second range, and really do a pan with Jake as he passes us. By slowing the shutter speed down, we can really create the illusion of speed. And oftentimes that's the challenge. You don't want to freeze your athlete. You really want to create this illusion or this feeling of they're moving fast. So I'm going to show you what it looks like at 500th of a second. I'm going to stop the action. And in fact, I think it's a pretty boring photo when you see it at 500th of a second or 1,000th of a second. Then we slow the shutter speed way down. And then from there, I'm going to adjust my aperture so that I'm not concerned about depth of field. I don't mind being at f11 or f16 or f8, because the reality is I'm going to be moving the camera while Jake is actually ripping past me on the mountain bike. And I'm trying to do consistently, I'm trying to move my camera fluidly and in the same plane as Jake, so that I want to really capture something sharp, whether it's Jake's eyes or his hands. I need something sharp in the frame, and then I want everything else to really just blur. I just want lines of motion in the background. One of the rules in shooting a picture like this, it's about repetition. I might shoot Jake 20 times whipping past me on the mountain bike, bursts of images every time. I'm shooting on the Nikon D4S because it allows me to shoot really fast at 11 frames per second. Now, of course, when I'm shooting at a slow shutter speed, I might not get those full 11 frames off, but I can kind of whip the camera across the frame, and I know that I'm going to get 3 or 4 opportunities while Jake is in that sweet spot. Inside the camera, I have a SanDisk Extreme Pro 128 gigabyte CF card. 128 gigabytes is a lot of photos, but I'm going to shoot a lot of images to get that one perfect frame. And at the end of the day in still photography, what we're really searching for is one great photograph. So I'll repeat the process over and over. I'll review on the back of my camera, figure out if I've got it, look for some sharpness in his eyes or on his face, and once I have that image, I know that I can move on. I really like to hand-hold the camera. There's no reason to be on a set of sticks. It's just limiting. So I'm not using a tripod, I'm not using a monopod. It's a simple setup. The first shot that I'm going to do is at a 1,000th of a second. I'm really going to freeze the action. You're going to see Jake. It's going to appear that Jake is almost standing still. And to me, this does not illustrate the speed that a mountain biker rides down a trail. The next photograph, or the rest of the images, I'm going to slow my shutter speed way down. The sweet spot seems to be about a 40th of a second. At a 40th of a second, I'm still creating that feeling of motion. You can make out the background so you understand he's on a trail, there's trees, the wheels are spinning, but I can get just enough of Jake in focus, whether it's his hand, whether it's his face or his shoulder. And that's all you need in terms of context to tell you that this is a mountain biker and wow, he's moving fast. And it's about being open-minded at the end of the day. I thought I was going to be on a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. I ended up on a 17 to 35 millimeter f2.8 Nikkor lens. Now these are just examples. If I were really trying to shoot this picture for a client or for myself, I would spend a lot more time. I'd shoot another 1,000 frames until I had just that perfect situation where his eyes are in focus or his helmet's in focus. And that's what it's about. It's about getting out there, perfecting the situation, and then repeating that situation over and over until you really have that perfect frame. Be sure to check out Adorama's latest contest. There's a ton of cool stuff that you can win. You're watching Adorama TV. There's a ton of free content like this getting published all the time, so tune in to Adorama.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and the main thing is get out there, experiment with your camera, have fun in the process. You're listening to Corey Rich. Thanks for tuning in.
Do you want
great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy-to-use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use AdoramaPix.com.